The Young and the Restless spoilers next week. Update September 22nd to September 26, 2025. The week ahead in Genoa City promises to be one of the most explosive yet, a convergence of secret deals, uneasy truces, and dangerous ambitions that will ripple through every family and every alliance. At the center of the storm are Sally and Audra, two women who have found themselves walking a delicate line between rivalry and necessity. Once bitter opponents, they now recognize that survival in this city often requires strange bedfellows. Sally, bruised by Jill's manipulations and still nursing the pain of betrayal, knows she cannot afford to face the next chapter alone. Audra, whose schemes have left her reputation in tatters, is desperate for a foothold. Together, they whisper of their next moves, aware that Victor himself may soon alter the entire playing field. Rumors swirl that Victor is considering a shocking ceasefire agreement with Jack, a possibility that no one in Genoa City could have foreseen. Such a truce would not only reshape the balance of power between two titans but could also erase the lines of loyalty that have defined the Newman and Abbott wars for decades. For Sally and Audra, the thought of Victor softening toward Jack presents both opportunity and danger, forcing them to carefully weigh how they will position themselves when the dust settles. As these clandestine discussions unfold, Devon turns his attention to Lily, guiding her through the emotional labyrinth of her own struggles. Devon has always been the steady voice in her life, and this week he encourages her to see the possibility of a fresh start. To him, honoring the past does not mean remaining shackled by it, and he reminds her that moving forward is sometimes the truest form of respect for what came before. For Lily, these words resonate deeply as she considers the toll of old battles and the weight of choices that have held her back. A new beginning may mean more than simply stepping into a different role. It may mean redefining who she is in Genoa City altogether. Meanwhile, in a surprising twist, Phyllis and Michael find themselves reaching the end of a bitter standoff. For weeks their clashes have drawn battle lines so deep that reconciliation seemed impossible. Yet exhaustion, and perhaps a shared recognition of the futility of endless fighting, finally forces them into an uneasy truce. Their decision to set aside their differences hints at something far larger than a temporary ceasefire. It suggests the formation of new alliances, the kind that could redraw the map of loyalties across the city. Genoa City has always thrived on rivalries, but the suggestion that enemies might become collaborators injects a dangerous unpredictability into the weeks ahead. Who will benefit from this new alignment, and who will find themselves betrayed once more? While others pursue reconciliation, Cain moves forward with determination that borders on recklessness. His presentation of a bold new plan to Amanda is not merely a business move but a declaration of his vision for the future. Cain has always straddled the line between ambition and overreach, and this week, his audacity sets off alarm bells among those watching closely. Amanda, however, finds herself caught in the pull of his energy. Despite the risks, she cannot deny the magnetism of his drive, and against her better judgment, she leans closer to his vision. The question that looms is whether Cain's boldness will propel them toward triumph or plunge them into disaster, and whether Amanda will regret letting herself be drawn into his orbit. Elsewhere, Kyle faces a test that challenges not just his loyalties but his very nature. In a tense confrontation, he is forced to take the high road, to act with integrity even when every instinct screams for retaliation. It is a crucible moment for him, one that highlights his ongoing struggle between impulse and honor. Taking the noble path may win him respect, but it also comes at a cost, leaving him conflicted about whether he has sacrificed too much of himself in the process. For a man who has often wrestled with questions of identity, family, and ambition, this moment marks a turning point that could reshape his path for years to come. At the same time, Adam sharpens his control over Chelsea, manipulating circumstances so that she finds herself trapped in an impossible dilemma. Adam's relentless drive forces Chelsea to confront a choice between loyalty and practicality, between standing by him or safeguarding her own independence. Each move Adam makes tightens the noose around her freedom, creating a tension that threatens to shatter what remains of their fragile connection. For Chelsea, the stakes are higher than they appear, for every choice she makes now will ripple outward, affecting not only her own future but the balance of power between Adam and those who seek to oppose him. The fractures extend even further when Sally holds her ground against Billy. Their relationship, already strained by distrust and Jill's manipulations, faces another battle. Billy, ever the man of schemes and promises, seeks to sway her with words and assurances, but Sally refuses to be manipulated. Her defiance exposes the widening cracks in their partnership, suggesting that the love they once thought could survive anything may not endure the relentless pressure of secrets, lies, and interference. Fans who once hoped that Sally might be the one to help Billy mature now watch with heavy hearts as their bond falters under the weight of mistrust. As the week draws to a close, the stage in Genoa City is set for upheaval. Sally and Audra's secret partnership could ignite new conflicts or forge unexpected power. Victor's potential truce with Jack threatens to destabilize decades of rivalry. Devon's counsel to Lily offers the promise of rebirth, while Phyllis and Michael's ceasefire hints at dangerous new alliances. Cain's ambition entangles Amanda in a risky future, Kyle's choice tests his soul, Adam's manipulation deepens Chelsea's torment, and Sally's resistance strains her connection to Billy. The threads of loyalty, betrayal, ambition, and survival intertwine, forming a tapestry of drama that promises heartbreak, triumph, and revelation. Next week, viewers will see not just the continuation of storylines, but the redefinition of Genoa City itself. Alliances will be tested, love will be strained, and secrets will once again threaten to undo the lives of those who cling too tightly to control. Every choice made will carry consequences, and in a city where the past never stays buried, the future is always written in the language of betrayal and redemption. The week ahead in Genoa City is shaping up to be a cauldron of secrets, betrayals, and impossible choices, as alliances are tested and futures hang in the balance. In the world of the young and the restless, no moment exists in isolation, and every conversation, every whispered deal, every stolen glance carries consequences that ripple across the city's fragile web of power. At the center of it all, Victor Newman once again proves that he is the master strategist, weaving plans that pull even the most reluctant players into his orbit, while characters like Sally, Audra, Cain, and Claire find themselves standing at crossroads where one decision could alter the course of their lives. For Audra Charles, the week begins with yet another blow to her already precarious standing in Genoa City. Once confident in her ability to climb any ladder, Audra is forced to face the bitter truth that her schemes and missteps have begun to cost her dearly. The realization hits with brutal clarity when Sally Spectre confides in her about Billy Abbott's latest decision, one that will have ripple effects throughout the business landscape. Sally, already bruised by her own battles, tells Audra with a mix of frustration and resignation that Billy has chosen to walk away from the company's vision, prioritizing something more personal, more intangible than the empire they were trying to build. The words strike Audra like a hammer blow. Abbott Communications has collapsed before it even began, for a woman whose survival has often depended on finding a seat at the table. The collapse of yet another opportunity feels like quicksand pulling her under. Her face betrays her shock as she realizes that once again, she is left without a foothold. The pattern is undeniably job after job slipping through her fingers, trust eroding around her, leaving her scrambling to reinvent herself yet again. But while Audra's career prospects crumble, Victor Newman is busy orchestrating yet another maneuver in his never-ending chess game. His focus this time is Cain Ashby, a man whose ambition and recklessness have made him both a potential asset and a dangerous liability. The meeting between them is set against the backdrop of Cain's latest venture, a metaphorical choo-choo train of risk and reward that has captured attention but also raised alarms. Victor, never one to shy away from bold plays, approaches Cain with a proposal as audacious as it is ruthless to join forces with him to destroy Abbott, the Abbott family's proudest legacy. It is a plan dripping with both personal vendetta and business strategy, and Victor makes no attempt to disguise the stakes. The confrontation is sharp, a battle of words that carries the weight of decades of rivalry. Cain, wary but intrigued, listens carefully. He knows that aligning with Victor could catapult him into unprecedented power but also tether him to a man whose loyalty is as fleeting as smoke. The exchange between them bristles with tension. Victor, his voice low and commanding, makes it clear that hesitation will not be tolerated. "Think about it," Cain says cautiously, and willing to commit to quickly. But Victor leans in with the kind of finality that has broken stronger men before him. "Don't take too long," he warns coldly. "Because the moment I walk out that door, the deal is dead." The words hang in there like a guillotine. the weight of finality pressing down on Cain as he realizes that his decision must come swiftly. It is a test of ambition versus caution, greed versus fear, and the answer could shift the balance of Genoa City's corporate landscape in ways no one can yet imagine. Elsewhere, the personal lives of Genoa City's residents continue to unravel with equal intensity. Clare, fragile and wounded from the tragedies that have plagued her relationship with Carl Abbott, finds herself confiding in Holden Novak. In a moment of rare vulnerability, she admits that her heart is heavy and her spirit weary, that what she truly needs is not more confrontation but space to breathe, to reflect, to heal. She tells Holden that all she wants is a little privacy, some distance from Kyle, so that she might find a way to mend the love that has been so badly fractured. For Holden, who has carried his own torch for Clare, the opening is too tempting to ignore. With calculated gentleness, he suggests an escape far greater than she could have imagined. If you want to get away, he tells her, why not come with me? Los Angeles is 2,000 miles away. It could be exactly what you need. His words dangle in the air like an invitation to a new life, free from the shadows of Genoa City's relentless drama. The question, of course, is whether Clare will accept. To leave with Holden would be to step away from Kyle, from the possibility of reconciliation, from the chance to rebuild the family she once dreamed of. Yet the temptation of distance, of escape, gnaws at her. In Holden's offer lies both danger and salvation, danger because of the complexity of his motives, salvation because of the possibility of peace. The choice will not come easily, and whatever decision Clare makes will send ripples through not only her life but Kyle's as well, deepening the fractures that already threaten to consume them. As the week builds toward its climax, the themes of betrayal, ambition, and survival intertwine more tightly than ever. Victor's power play with Cain threatens to ignite a corporate war that could devastate Jabot and reconfigure Genoa City's business elite. Audra's growing instability underscores the high cost of ambition in a city where jobs, alliances, and reputations vanish overnight. Sally's fortitude in the face of Billy's destructive choices reveals the cracks widening in their relationship, cracks that may soon become irreparable fractures. Kyle's struggle with Clare, amplified by Holden's manipulative invitation, promises emotional fallout that could redefine not only their future but the dynamics of the Abbott family itself. And above it all, the looming question remains, who will survive the next round of battles, and who will be left broken? The week ahead in Genoa City is not just about business deals or romantic betrayals, it is about the very nature of power, the cost of loyalty, and the inevitability of secrets clawing their way to the surface. For viewers, it promises a roller coaster of revelations and heartbreaks, the kind of storytelling that keeps the young and the restless at the center of daytime drama. The latest twists in Genoa City promise to push relationships, loyalties, and even sanity to their breaking points. Daniel Romalotti Jr., who has spent much of his life carrying the burdens of his past mistakes, now finds himself dragged into a mystery darker than anything he could have anticipated. When he admits to Tessa that Mariah had approached him with an unusual request to help care for her and Arya Porter Copeland in her absence, the weight of his words carries far more than simple responsibility. The phrasing, the odd way Mariah framed her request, unsettles Daniel deeply. He cannot shake the feeling that Mariah, in asking for help, was preparing for something far more permanent than a temporary leave. The fear that she may never return gnaws at him, and as he looks at Tessa, he sees the same creeping dread mirrored in her eyes. Tessa, already battling the ache of Mariah's absence, recalls fragments of her wife's words, the confessions that had slipped between them like shadows. She remembers Mariah speaking of Boston, of seeking help, of searching for something undefined but urgent. At the time, Tessa dismissed it as desperation talking, the kind of vague promise made when life feels unbearable. But as she repeats the details to Daniel now, she hears how ominous they sound. Why Boston? Why so suddenly? And why would Mariah, who never leaves without a heartfelt goodbye, vanish without a word? The contradictions slice at Tessa's heart, making the silence around Mariah feel less like absence and more like abandonment. Daniel, searching for answers, asks the question that has been clawing at him since the moment Mariah left. Did she say anything about what had happened to her? Any reason she might flee? Tessa hesitates, torn between protecting Mariah's secret and the need to tell the truth. Finally, she confesses what she has held back, Mariah revealed that she had tried to kill someone. The admission lands like an explosion. Daniel reels, his mind racing through every possibility, every danger. A confession like that is not something Mariah would invent. The lack of detail, the missing name, the missing context only makes it more terrifying. Who had she tried to kill? Was it self-defense? Was it vengeance? Was she hiding from justice or from herself? The questions multiply, and with each one the urgency to find her grows. Tessa replays Mariah's behavior after her recent business trip, remembering the subtle changes, the way her eyes lingered too long on nothing, the way her touch seemed more absent, her smile more forced. Something had broken on that trip, something Mariah hadn't been able to explain. Tessa decides she can no longer wait. She must go to the hotel where Mariah stayed, to see the place for herself, to search for answers hidden in the walls and shadows of that space. Yet fear claws at her. What if she finds more than she can handle? What if the truth is darker than even her imagination allows? The thought of walking into danger alone chills her, and Daniel, reading the hesitation in her voice, offers what little comfort he can to go with her. His resolve is firm. He cannot let Tessa shoulder this alone, not when the secrets Mariah left behind threaten to unravel them both. And so, an easy alliance is born. Together they will go to the hotel, stepping into the unknown, chasing a woman who may not want to be found and a truth that could destroy them all. While mystery and dread swirl in one corner of Genoa City, ambition and manipulation brew in another. On Cain's symbolic train, where deals and ambitions gather momentum with dangerous speed, he turns his attention to Billy Abbott. Cain has always thrived on pressure, and now he uses it as a weapon, pressing Billy to stop drifting in indecision and confront the reality of his entanglement with Sally Spectra. Billy, whose life has been a carousel of reckless choices and self-destructive spirals, resists at first. But Cain's relentless insistence that Billy must face Sally, must take control rather than hiding behind empty promises, cuts into his defenses. For Cain, the ride of ambition never slows, and anyone who hesitates risks being left behind. He frames the choice not as romance but as necessity. Billy must either step into his future with Sally or watch it slip away entirely. This parallel of stories, Daniel and Tessa's search for Mariah's truth, and Cain's manipulation of Billy toward confrontation with Sally, underscores the dual nature of Genoa City itself. It is a place where personal secrets bleed into public consequences, where whispers of violence collide with boardroom deals, and where every character stands on a precipice. For Daniel and Tessa, the path leads into shadows, into the possibility that Mariah is both victim and perpetrator of a crime no one fully understands. For Billy, the path leads into yet another test of whether he can rise above his instincts or whether he will once again sabotage the only person who may still believe in him. The days ahead promise revelations that will not come without cost. Tessa and Daniel may uncover truths about Mariah that change how they see her forever, truths that could draw police, enemies, and ghosts from the past back into their lives. Cain's pressuring of Billy may reignite rivalries, driving Sally into decisions that fracture not only her relationship with Billy but her fragile alliances with others in the city. And through it all, the ever-present shadow of Victor Newman looms, his schemes tying threads together in ways that others cannot yet see. In Genoa City, there are no simple departures, no clean confessions, no quiet reconciliations. Every disappearance hides a secret, every deal masks a betrayal, every love story teeters on the edge of ruin. Daniel's confession to Tessa, Mariah's shocking admission, the investigation of a hotel filled with unspoken danger, Cain's manipulations, Billy's choices, Sally's vulnerability, all of it forms a storm that will sweep through the city with devastating force. The week ahead will not just test loyalties, it will expose the darkest corners of those who thought they could keep their secrets buried.